Welcome to the Film Channel movie Silver Screen. We will review two unique classic neo-noir crime thrillers. The Silent Partner, 1978, is a novel by British author Dick Francis. It is the third in a series of novels that follow the career of professional jockey, Jim Stringer. The novel revolves around the protagonist, Jim Stringer, and his wife Helen, as they try to save their marriage after she has an affair with another man. The title The Silent Partner is appropriate for a movie that has the potential to rank among the greatest undiscovered masterpieces of Canadian cinema. Toronto's Eaton Centre opened in 1977, so you'd have to assume The Silent Partner, a beloved only sort of Canadian classic, is in large part a showcase or advertisement for the location. However, it is essentially an incredibly uplifting story about a brilliant slacker who is able to see through everyone's seeming importance and ultimately becomes a stud. This is a standard against which we aim to measure ourselves. The Silent Partner is still relevant because it is an example of how to handle a difficult situation in marriage and how to forgive your spouse when they make mistakes. The film Partner, which was written and directed by Curtis Hanson, who would later helm LA Confidential, is a slow-burning thriller that skillfully builds to a still shocking act of savagery. However, it wasn't, so we won't keep you guessing. We witnessed a mini miracle. A thriller with the most audaciously well-oiled storyline, in addition to being cleverly written, well-acted, and highly frightening. In fact, the plot of Silent Partner includes Hitchcock-worthy levels of irony, reversals, and perfectly inevitable triple crosses. The movie's characters, though, are what make it entertaining. The bank teller that Gould plays, the cruel robber, Christopher Plummer, the utterly befuddled girl that Gould occasionally condescends to seduce, Susanna York, and the stunning French-Canadian girl, Céline Lomas, who is first Plummer's lover and later Gould's helper. Gould and Plummer offer no redeeming qualities, other than what they claw out for themselves to justify their own bad behavior. And even then it becomes apparent that nobody is buying their shoddy facades, except themselves, Plummer's particularly, constructed out of a Santa suit at one point. We watch Harry beating up a young woman to highlight his vicious nature, and to set up a crucial plot maneuver. The demonstration is unnecessary because Plummer's arrogant attitude and suggestive speech are frightful enough on their own. The movie received 6 Etrogs, Canada's version of the Oscars, including Best Picture, producers Stephen Young, Joel Michaels, and Garth Drabinsky, Best Director, Sound Recording, David Lee, Sound Editing, Bruce Nisnick, Original Music, and Best Editing out of 11 nominations, George Appleby. The movie was reportedly part of one of those Canadian tax shelter arrangements, where the box office take doesn't really matter, because everyone makes their money on the deal, and the movie is left to the wolves. However, if we set aside the transaction, the practicalities, and the obscure nature of the picture, what is left is a magnificent thriller. One in which complex characters and an even more complex narrative are brought together in a way that makes us amazed by their cleverness. You should really try to discover this if you enjoy well-made, well-acted movies and smart, cerebral thrillers, particularly those from the 1970s. What more could you ask for from a piece of work that delivers on all the tagline on the billboard promises a disturbing tale, intertwined with humor, sensuality, and terror than the above? The Maltese Falcon, one of the first and best noir movies, is a gritty, fast-moving thriller with razor-sharp dialogue and people that seem to know no limitations in order to get what they desire. This is a shockingly dark film to be produced by a Hollywood company, because not even Humphrey Bogart's brilliant portrayal of Sam Spade can be considered as a traditional hero. This is a wonderful classic with gorgeous hard-lit cinematography, a great supporting cast, and well-planned situations. You may be familiar with the tale one of Mr. Hammett's best of, a private investigator in San Francisco who, thanks to a stunning but evasive dame, finds entangled in a convoluted scheme to seize a magnificent jeweled statuette. John Huston adapted Dashiell Hammett's renowned 1930 hard-boiled detective novel The Maltese Falcon into the 1941 American film noir The Maltese Falcon. Huston made his directorial debut with the movie, which is renowned for its cast, incisive dialogue, and dramatic photography. Humphrey Bogart's performance in the film would come to define him for the rest of his career. His tough Sam Spade saved him from a decade of mediocre parts in B-gangster flicks and set him up for Casablanca, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, The African Queen, and other classics. While we struggle with the specifics of the story, it is comforting to see that Bogart's Sam Spade never loses control, his confidence frequently overflowing over with outrageous outbursts of violence that endow the film with its unique sense of humor. Actually, Huston's The Maltese Falcon was the third movie adaptation of Hammett's book. The original, written by Hammett, starred Ricardo Cortez and B.B. Daniels, and was published in 1931. Furthermore, The Maltese Falcon is regarded as the first film noir by the several film historians. Much of the quality of the picture lies in its excellent revelation of character. Mr. Bogart is a shrewd, tough detective with a mind that cuts like a blade, a temperament that sometimes betrays him, and a code of morals which is coolly cynical. Mary Astor is well-nigh perfect as the beautiful woman whose cupidity is forever to be suspect. Sidney Greenstreet, from the Theatre Guild's roster, is magnificent as a cultivated English crook, and Peter Lorre, Elisha Cook Jr., Lee Patrick, Barton MacLane all contribute stunning characters. The casting of Mary Astor in the lead female part, who had her career destroyed a few years prior by a real-life sex scandal, is also a stroke of genius. Astor lends some of that grimness from real life to the part. The last thing you consider about The Maltese Falcon is the plot. It has been stolen, men have been killed over it, and now Gutman, Greenstreet, has shown up with his lackeys, Lorre and Elisha Cook Jr., to recover it. The black bird is rumored to be made of gold and covered in diamonds. Spade gets involved in the story because Mary Astor, the main character, pays him to. However, as the storyline progresses, it becomes clear that the black bird is a classic example of Hitchcock's MacGuffin. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as everyone in the narrative desires or fears it. It would be nearly hard to outline the plot in a logical and sequential approach. That is unimportant. In essence, the film is a succession of dialogues with occasional, violent breaks. Style is everything. It's not the fights or chases, it's the performers' portrayals of their characters in the way they act, move, speak, and look. There is attitude under the style. Hard men are capable of murder and are driven by greed in a society that is emerging from the Great Depression and heading toward war. Sam Spade will navigate this territory for an hourly charge. The scene where Bridget asks for his assistance and he critiques her performance is all there needs to know about Sam Spade. You're fine. It's mostly your eyes, in my opinion, and the throb you feel inside. The Maltese Falcon has been hailed as the best detective film ever made, and the first significant masterpiece in the noir genre.